Wow, this is really a VIP crowd. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Peter Stanton, and I have it upon high authority, and that is Chris Prosser told me to get everyone seated and get the show started. So the show doesn't actually start. We're gonna start with lunch, but we want to make sure we get through this phase because we have a pretty significant program to get through. We've had this outstanding Women in Business event here at Tuckerman Hall the last several years, and I know many folks have been here before, so I sometimes hesitate to repeat a message that I've said for a couple years in a row, but then in talking to some, I had 3 or 4 people say to me I'd never been in this hall before. And so I just want to point out, I won't give a long speech, but in the program, the first item that we write about is a little brief history of Tuckerman's Hall, which was originally created, and there's a sign outside if you look for the type, as the Worcester Women's, I'm sorry, why am I getting the name wrong? Yes, Worcester Women's Organization, and the hall was actually designed in the late 1800s by a woman architect. So it has a rich history, and it really makes it a perfect place to have this celebration. I also want to acknowledge that a lot of us, it's cold outside, and it is a little bit of a hassle to get here and to park and to figure that out. But I think that once you're inside, hopefully you'll agree with me that it's really worth the effort to get in here. So please have lunch and enjoy it. We're going to be back up here around just before 12:40 to get the program started. And thank you again all for coming. Okay. I just want everyone to know that at this event, this is not one of those business events where we give everyone the bum's rush and it's 1:29 and we get you out of here. This is an event where we give some love to all of our winners. It can take till 3, 4 o'clock, so I would suggest you just sort of go to the bar, get a drink, and relax. Actually, I'm kidding. We do get done by 2, but we don't rush. Anyways, I would like to thank the many organizations that help make this special event really happen. And that includes our presenting sponsor, which is Nichols College, our speaker sponsor, Penta Communications, our supporting sponsors, Clinton Savings Bank, and the Women's Initiative of the United Way of Central Mass, and as well as our longtime media sponsors and partners, WTAG and WSRS. And to get things started, I see her walking around with a little speech, is Jean Beaupre, who's the Faculty Director of the Institute for Women's Leadership at Nichols College. Jean, you're on.
Thank you, Peter. I'm thrilled to be here today. I'm here with some of my esteemed colleagues from Nichols College, from our administrative team, as well as our Graduate and Professional Studies Division, and also our esteemed president, Dr. Susan West Engelmeyer, is with us as well. So thank you all. We're very grateful to have the opportunity to be here today. We'd actually like to thank Worcester Business Journal, that's you, for continuing to celebrate and honor all that is good in our business community. They really serve an important role in our region, and we thank them for that. And I think they've also figured out how to throw a pretty good party, don't you think? Yeah, they're pretty good at it. So our efforts align pretty closely with Worcester Business Journals. Our goal is to both develop and inspire business leaders, and our stats are pretty good. 4 out of 10 of our graduates goes on to become presidents or CEOs of their companies or business owners. We're very proud of our graduates. And by the way, if anyone's curious about any of our programs, any of our colleagues would be happy to speak to you. There's a table in the back. And our Graduate and Professional Studies Division is planning an open house on December 10th, and all of you are welcome. So yes, our mission is to develop the leaders of tomorrow, the business leaders of tomorrow. So it's quite fitting that we're here celebrating the leaders of today. So thank you all very much. As Peter mentioned, this building was designed by a female architect over 100 years ago. So I was a little curious about women in architecture, so I did a little research. As you can think about this, what percentage of current architects do you think are female? Don't worry, I'm not going to quiz you on it. I'll tell you what the answer is. So the American Institute of Architects is the largest licensing body, and 19% of current licensed architects are female. So you can imagine, if that's the number in 2014, I don't think in around 1900 that was anywhere close 19%. They probably didn't even bother counting how many female architects there were. So I think we owe Ms. Chapman, her name, by the way, is Josephine Wright Chapman, was the architect. So I think we owe her a little props for this absolutely beautiful building. And I think she'll be quite pleased with how we're using the building today. And so speaking of gender gap, I won't throw any more statistics at you, but there still is a fairly substantial salary and leadership gap in this country. Even after our last election, we're still under 20% in Congress. And there are a lot of factors that go into why that gap still exists. It's societal and cultural, internal, external, a lot of factors. It's much more complex than the old glass ceiling metaphor. But one thing we do know is that having women in positions of power and decision making is good for everyone. There are lots of studies that you can look up that prove that organizations that have more women on the board and in their executive positions outperform their competition. They're more innovative, they're more profitable, and in many cases more ethical. And that's mostly due to the variety and diversity of perspective that women bring when decisions are made by a diverse group of people. So we have this gap. We know it's good for everyone. So how do we close that gap? Well, here today is one of the prime examples of how that can happen, and that is through having strong female role models. And ladies, I know some people don't like to be called role models, but I hate to tell you this, but having read your bios and the fact that you're being honored here today, Sarika and Charlotte, Sue, Ann, Donna, and Victoria, all of you serve as very strong female role models. There's a phrase that we use a lot in our work with leadership, and in particular with women's leadership, and that is, you can't be what you can't see. And so for our young people, and especially our female students, it's really important, and it can actually be a game changer to see strong women making their mark in the corporate world, in medicine, in working with our young people, and generally making a difference in their communities and in their companies. So we thank you for the example that you're setting here today, and we thank all of you for making time to sneak out of your offices to break bread in Ms. Chapman's beautiful building. So on behalf of Nichols College, we thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today and hope you enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Great remarks, and it is my pleasure to bring up to the podium Deborah Penter, who is going to be introducing our keynote speaker. If you look at your program, there's this great graphic. There's an ad in there from Penta Communications, and it's this woman flying through the air about 200 feet up. So for those of you who know Deborah, she's perfectly capable of sort of flying up onto the stage, but she doesn't like to show off, so I think she'll probably walk this time. So Deborah, if you could come up. We're all set. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. You know, this event is just so wonderful, and we look forward to it every year. And years ago, when it first started, there were hardly any men in the room, and I couldn't believe the number of men that are here today supporting all of the wonderful women that are being honored. So let's give our great men a big round of applause. It's awesome. Just awesome. It is such a pleasure to join Peter and the team at the Worcester Business Journal and Jean and her team at Nichols College once again to sponsor this event. And you all know that this event is really a signature event for women in business and leadership for women. And it really promises to be inspirational in every way, honoring 6 incredible and noteworthy women, making our communities stronger, and building their organizations to a higher level of success. So congratulations to all of you. So for over 25 years in my role at Penta, I've had the privilege of working with so many fabulous female leaders, and many members are part of our team at the organization, our wonderful clients, community partners, and friends and vendors. And today we have two women from Penta that are with us today, two of our leaders, Susan Murdoch, our Director of Client Services, and Lydia Goldblatt, our Director of Operations. So thank you for all you do every day. Successful female leaders run their organizations with more than just intelligence. They lead their companies with their natural intuitive abilities to make a difference, with compassion, with empathy, and we see that in many different ways. But they're making a difference in shaping and growing their organizations by driving revenue, by building awareness, making their communities stronger, and in building teams comprised of A players, great individuals who are seeking to be greater in what they do in their roles every single day. So there's so many women that are actually behind the scenes rooting for them and inspiring them. As a full-service integrated marketing firm, we are so proud to help our clients, many of whom are female leaders, many of whom are here today, really get results-orientated marketing that includes a whole host of services, from advertising to public relations, creative services such as graphic design and web design and development, media planning and buying, event planning, social media strategies, and just a whole host of growth strategies to help them get to the next level. But what makes us stand apart, I believe, is our team. And any of you who have worked with us have had the privilege of meeting our team, and they're all awesome. And I love to use the sports analogy of either a football team or a baseball team. So there are no egos, really. It's not all about the pitching in baseball. You still need great pitching, but you also need an awesome field behind you. You need the players that are going to catch that ball right on the green monster before it flies over, great fielders, you need great heavy hitters, and you need all of those individuals working cohesively together that are the best at what they do. And I think that's what we're all about at Penta. It's about the team. When we asked our clients what they thought their best reasons for working with us were, we asked for their top 5, and the one that came out on top surprised us a little bit, but we were really happy to hear it. And it's a 5-letter word, and it's trust. In today's world, companies of all shapes and sizes really truly need strategic partners they can trust to get the job done. And we believe that all of our clients trust us 100% inside and out, that they know that when they work with us, we will do whatever it takes to get the job done, no matter what. And so I would like to say that it is a pleasure to be part of this again this year. I think it's been almost since the inception that we've been a sponsor, close to that. And to support women in the community and women's initiatives that are happening with mentorship and leadership support, and just really being a part of the community to help in any way that we can and support women of all levels. So it's a privilege to do what we do every day, and we are delighted to have the opportunity to sponsor this. And on behalf of the entire team at Penta, we hope you have a great time, and we hope you're excited to learn about how you can get to your A game rolling, and thank you so very much.
Thank you, Deborah. So Carol Cecino is the founder of Turning Point Institute and the author of Build Your A Game. She's a speaker. She's got a very interesting background and a terrific story to tell. She's just been mic'd, and they'll turn it on in a minute. So Carol, it's great to have you here, and welcome. You're on.
Big room. To be seen, be heard, and be remembered. How many people in the room want to be seen, heard, and remembered in their life? Yeah, great. Other words that are used around that would be acknowledgement and appreciation. It's a natural thing that we all want in life, and we're all seeking that to belong in the world. Well, I've been focused on being seen, heard, and remembered for as far back as I can remember. And that was at the age of 7. At the age of 7, I had a heart defect. And my family had to choose for me to have a quality of life or a life of limitation by having an open heart surgery that was not very well known at the time. A lot of high risks and a lot of uncertainties. So they opted for the surgery, thankfully. And when I woke up, I had no voice. Literally no voice. The doctors assured my parents that it would come back, it would be temporary. Well, days led into weeks, led into months, and I had no voice. Here I was going back to school, being teased and made fun of. We'd call that bullying today. I grew up in a large family, so I was silenced, even without wanting to be. So I had to find ways to be seen, heard, and remembered. I was able to master a soft, raspy, non-projectable voice that worked extremely well if there was no background noise. Well, that doesn't happen very often. Also, if I had any real emotion, happy, sad, scared, or mad, I would lose my voice. So my entire life was about being vigilant, aware, and what we call today present and in the moment. That was the only way I could feel safe and secure. I couldn't yell for help, so I had to be aware of it. And part of being present and in the moment kept me really connected with everything and every opportunity. Today, that's a gift. I didn't know that at the time. So where you're wounded, you're gifted, and I got so many gifts as a result of not having a voice. So I learned how to be present in the moment, actively listening to everybody speaking, so that I could find an opportunity to insert myself, just to be part of a conversation. And when that wasn't happening, I'd throw out an open-ended question just to come from curiosity. So I'm a very curious person. And by being curious, that makes us interested. And it also makes us interesting. Because when we're asking questions, people want to share with you. And being someone who can't really share much, couldn't share much, I was great at asking questions, which really helped me in my sales career many years later. I also developed very strong nonverbal communication. And I met Pat today, who's a high energy person. Well, we're all energy beings, right? And we resonate with people before we even open our mouths or say anything. So when we're walking into a room and we're feeling good about something, people will resonate with that. If we're feeling negative, people will notice that too. So when we can align our words with our energy, that's even more powerful. So I had a very strong nonverbal communication style, and I couldn't figure it out why my mother always knew what I was up to. I mean, I was a dead giveaway, even when I didn't want to be. So that was an interesting situation as well. And the other thing with the surgery of not having a voice, I also didn't have the ability for long-winded conversations. I had to be brief, direct, and to the point. And that worked really well at times, and it worked against me at times, but I had no other choice. So I had that, and all of these skills that I thought were normal to everybody weren't. And as I went through life, I had many obstacles, but I had this streak of determination and boldness, which also got in my way at times, to really not let my voice limitation limit me. So I had my first real job was a sales support person. And all of these 4 men that I supported had great cars, a lot of money, expense account, tons of freedom. I wanted to be the salesperson that was supported and not supporting them. So I went after a sales career. And back then, which was in the early 70s, there were not very many female salespeople, certainly in the technology industry. So they wouldn't give me a job. They told me I was, honey, you're crazy. But I wasn't. And I went after a sales role thinking I could do this. And I went and I worked for a dictation equipment company. Go figure. I had to teach people how to speak and talk into a technology. Fast forward, I got into the publishing industry, and we were talking about this earlier, which is a very male-dominant industry, just like the women we're recognizing today. Each and every one of you have been in a very male-dominant industry. These are roads that are not paved for you. These are the roads you pave for yourself. And so I got into sales in publishing industry, male-dominant. I didn't know there was a difference between me and the people around me. I was one of one in the room, one female with all men, so I was acting a lot like them because I didn't know. And I kept running up against adversity and problems, and I couldn't figure out why. I'm doing the same things they are, but it wasn't well received coming from me because I wasn't them and I'm not like them. So I was very fortunate to have a mentor who then became a sponsor recognize my abilities that I didn't recognize in myself. And he was a high-level executive, gave me the training, the leadership development. He sent me to Stanford Publishing School, everything I needed to develop a leadership style that was for me. Not the environment I was in, but what worked for me. It was the turning point in my life, because I got to see who I am really from the inside out, tapping into all of the skills and talents that I learned as a result of not having a voice served me very well. As many of us have gone through, is that glass ceiling. I broke through that. We were talking about this. Then I hit the cement wall, and it was time to go. So I left in 2006 to bring all of this that I've learned over the years, especially as a woman in the world, to be in the world, to teach other women how to find their voice. And here I am still with no voice. So I'll tell you how I got my voice back. In 2010, I was watching a Dr. Oz show. Your voice could be killing you, and it was killing me because I had all these great aspirations, but I was limited by my capacity and my ability to stand up here and do what I'm doing right now. I found out in 2010 that I had a paralyzed vocal cord. So for 50 years, 50, I lived with a soft, raspy, non-projectable voice, and everybody told me it was in my head. Speak up, try harder, do this, do that. And I'm like, how can that be? So I found out that I had a paralyzed vocal cord, and the doctor, and I do say was quite handsome, said to me, he had me at yes, said to me, I have good news and bad news. Give me the bad news. Bad news is you have the paralyzed vocal cord. The good news is we can fix it. I just filled with emotion. And he said, if you were my sister, I would highly recommend you do that. And I said, do you like your sister? Yes. He did. So I had the surgery December 29th, 2010, and I woke up again with no voice. And here I was like saying, oh my God, my past is dictating my future. It took about 3 months. I had some complications, and the voice came back. The voice came back not just vocally, but in every way. So all of the things that I had to be strategic about or aware of and conscious of weren't dictating my life. I was now in charge with the voice and everything to go with it. And I've been working with women, primarily women, and many more men in the last year or so, on helping them find their A game, to discover it, to build it, to bring it to the world. And we all have it in us. It's just we don't know what it is we don't know, right? So I wrote, I wrote a book with not any intentions of sharing it in the world. I was writing it for me. The book I wrote was for me, to capture my many years of experiences, the obstacles, the challenges, but more importantly, the opportunities and the gifts. And I had to bring it forward. And that's the process of my life is what this book is. And I'll just give you a quick idea of what that is. So my process and the process of Build Your A Game talks about awareness, because everything starts with awareness, right? We don't know what we don't know until we know it, and only then can we do something about it. I didn't know what I didn't know many times, and I'd walk into that wall or have someone stop me, and I have to figure it out. What is going on here? So the more I knew, the better my choices. The more we all know, the better the choices. So it's about awareness, and the process is about understanding who we are from the inside out. What's our values, our principles, and our needs, because they drive our behavior, good, bad, or indifferent, consciously and unconsciously. So when we get triggered at something, we get upset with someone, the chances are very good that it's triggering one of your needs or your values. The good news is if you know what they are, and they come around, you can pause and reflect on what that person is saying is not about you, but it's about them. So they're not attacking you in a situation, they're attacking something that's not feeling good to them. So that's a really powerful tool that I use to not take things so personally. The second level is authenticity. So you know who you are, how are you showing up? Many times we show up, and this is what I did, was show up in an environment that I thought was where I belonged and doing the things like everybody else was not aligning with me. It was not unique to me. It wasn't me. So it wasn't working, and it got me in trouble, I dare say. And then the next level is, authenticity is our professional brand and our personal presence. So how are we showing up? What's our energy level? What do we feel about ourselves? It's our confidence, our communication style. It's how we connect. And that's always evolving. The more we learn about ourselves, the more authentically developed we're getting. It's our footprint. The other part is alliance, and people in this room will resonate with this. It's about community, right? It's about giving back to the community, and it's who you align with, because you're going to be judged whether you like it or not. So you're judged by the people you're with, but being in community is more than that. It's about passion and purpose. It's bigger than who you are as an individual. It takes you into a place where you can really you're just in the flow. And when you surround yourself with the right people in community, you're getting something and you're giving something. It's lifting, it's like the high tides lift all boats, right? So alliance is really important. And then the fourth level is affluence, which is our influence, right? Our influence is it's our cachet, it's our economy, it's our everything. And affluence, and I talk about this in the book, is about the economy or the exchange of something. So it's not just about money, but for the women that I was writing to in this book, and men, it's about understanding the power that we have. We have more buying power than anything. We spend the most money, we take care of the finances and all this stuff, but yet we don't like how we're being marketed to. Not that you're not, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of organizations don't market to the women. They don't provide the things that make sense or want them. But I encourage and challenge women to be more aware of the companies they're buying from. If they're not supporting the message you want to hear, don't buy from them. If they don't have women on their boards, don't buy from them, because they're not shaping their company by missing half the population. So I encourage people just to think about this, and the entire book is all about just planting seeds and awareness. Thank you so much. How could he tell? So anyway, and then the last one is about advocating. And again, the ladies that are going to be up here on the stage all advocate for others. They bring everything to the table, and they help with what they know, they share with what they know, they mentor, they sponsor. You know, we all have a legacy that's being created for us or by us. I'd rather be the one to create my own legacy and have it while I'm in the world versus after I leave the world. And so I would encourage everyone to think about the legacy that they want to be in the world so that we can help others and share the gifts and celebrate everything we've been given and all the things we keep getting. And to me, that's about paying forward. And so that's the process. And when you're on your A game, which is a personal thing for everybody, it's a continuum. It's a lifelong journey. We're always going to be building it. For every new level of awareness, the process starts again. And just like we exist in the world, 95% of us are on autopilot. We're always in motion based on things that are already here. It's natural until something stops us. And that's when we become aware. And when we're aware, we're present. And when we're present, we're involved and we're actively listening and we're engaged with other people. So that's the Build Your A game. But I would like to make note of what Jean was talking about. You know, all of the statistics, the numbers, sadly, for women have stayed relatively flat. There's been a lot of effort and work and focus on that for, 30, 40 years. But our numbers are flat. They keep staying low. And I would love to encourage all of us, the men and the women, to sit together and join the conversation and bridge the gap. Because what I hear out there in the work I do, women are there at leadership development programs, getting empowered, learning all this great stuff, and they go back to an environment that hasn't changed at all. They've changed, but the environment hasn't. And then some of the men I work with feel like the women are like getting something that they're not getting. So there seems to be like this gap that's happening. And I would love nothing more than to have the women in this room bring the men along, and men bring the women along, and come to a place where we can start communicating differently for action, so that someday that this is not just the Outstanding Women in Business Award, which I so appreciate, it will be the Outstanding People in Business Award. That's what I'd like to see in my lifetime. So anyway, that's what I have to say. I have one more thing to say. So be seen, that's your impression factor. To be heard, that's your impact factor. To be remembered is your influence factor. All of that creates your change factor. And as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. So, thank you.
I'm Rick Saya, the editor of the Worcester Business Journal. And before she leaves the stage, I want to give Carol a token of our appreciation, this gift.
Oh, thank you.
For those of you who are interested, there are copies of Carol's book, Build Your A Game, out at the registration table. If you're interested, you can probably look to pick one up after festivities are done today. It's an honor to be here with you this afternoon at this event and to honor such a distinguished group of female leaders within our business community. This is the 6th year the WBJ has put together a Women in Business event, and I want to give you a little rundown on how we choose our award recipients each year. we ask for nominations from the business community through our website, and we as a staff keep in mind the accomplishments of some female leaders throughout the year during our everyday coverage of the business community in central Massachusetts. And that yields many strong candidates, not just this year, but every year. So we then send all that information to our judges for their feedback, and we put it all together to come up with our selections. So I would be remiss without thanking our 3 judges this year. They are Christina Andrioli, Vice President of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce, Diane Power, Executive Director at Myrick O'Connell, and a 2013 Outstanding Women in Business honoree herself. Also, Ann Wettengel, the Program Manager for the Women's Initiative of the United Way of Central Massachusetts. Please, just a moment to thank them. It's our way of appreciating what they did. And as we introduce each of this year's honorees over the next several minutes, we'll talk about what they've accomplished, and you'll see a video clip for each of them in which we talk with people who know them well and will help give us a more complete picture of these deserving award winners. So with that, I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank my colleague, Matt Volpini, whom I think we're sitting over there somewhere. Okay. He's standing over there somewhere. Our staff photographer and videographer who took the pictures and shot the videos of our winners. And now to introduce the first honoree, I get to introduce myself. Okay. If there is anyone who represents the definition of a go-getter, it's Dr. Sarika Agarwal. She is Chief Medical Officer of Fallon Health, and she's also an internist for UMass Memorial Medical Group. She's also a consultant to the Mass Board of Registration in Medicine and a volunteer at the Shrewsbury India Medical Clinic. She's an advocate for integrating care, especially for individuals who have complex care needs. She firmly believes that this is a solution to better health outcomes while keeping healthcare costs down. She finds that volunteering her services and finding effective opportunities for all to have high-quality, affordable healthcare is one of the most rewarding aspects of her job. Fallon is exceptionally proud to have Dr. Agarwal leading the way for high-quality, affordable healthcare. Dr. Agarwal has not only been exceptional in her career, but has been more than helpful to share her expertise in the healthcare field around the country. She demonstrates the true characteristics of a leader, as she is a mentor for up-and-coming professionals who want to make a difference in the health and well-being of our community. Dr. Agarwal looks at her own experiences as inspiration to make things better for the communities we serve with the care, compassion, and integrity we want for our own families. Her dedication to the field has been immeasurable and has not gone without notice. Now let's hear what some others have to say about Dr. Agarwal. Okay, for her commitment to seeking solutions for healthcare challenges, please give a hand to Dr. Sarika Agarwal. Okay.
Thank you, everyone, so much for this honor. When I heard about this award, I was completely taken aback. As a physician, I never really thought of myself as a woman leader in business. I guess I have spent my entire career in the business of serving patients. I came to Worcester in 1989 to do my residency at UMass Memorial, and then started to do what I had wanted to do since age 5. When other kids were playing with dolls and houses, I was doctoring them. I always wanted to practice medicine. I realized very early in my primary care career that healing was not just about treating patients with medication. It was listening to them. It was listening to their thoughts, their families, about their families, their circumstances. It was really treating the whole person. So I took up other jobs, medical director of practice redesign, clinical integration, in a continuous attempt to work around this concept, to convince more physicians to do the same. Then Fallon plucked me out of UMass and took me on this challenging yet exhilarating journey to flex more muscles, to treat more people, to learn about more people, not just in the greater Worcester community, but in the entire state and beyond. I would like to thank the kind people who nominated me, the judges and the Worcester Business Journal sponsors. I would like to thank my patients who over the years have taught me how to survive and combat adversity in ways that have not written in books, and whom I continue to serve no matter where I am and in whatever capacity I am. I would like to thank all my colleagues at Fallon, my team, my community, who travels with me on this journey. And lastly, a shout out to my family, my husband and kids, who always nominated me for the soda, just so mom wouldn't have to bake. My parents, who made no sense when I was a teenager, but who make complete sense now. All of my family, who are my backbone, and who make me strong within, so I can be strong without. Thank you very much.
We make them stay up here. So, one of the things you can tell from those, well, first of all, this is everyone's moment in the sun, and it's actually happening literally, isn't it? As this blinding sun comes in. Carol, when you were speaking, I saw it shining you. I said, wow, what a great moment. She's saying these meaningful things, and the light is upon her. However, the light is also upon the screen. It's a little bit hard to see for a few minutes. We should figure out how to block that window up there, but nonetheless. And I think you can also tell that these comments on the video are made with no knowledge of the person receiving the award. So we kind of hit them in the gut just before they come up here. It's really unfair. We apologize, but it makes it more fun. Anyways, it's my pleasure to bring up Deborah Penter to introduce our next honoree.
It is with commitment, perseverance, and passion that Charlotte Berthiard has turned Universal Window and Door into the thriving company that it is today. Since Charlotte took ownership in 2001, She learned the business from the ground up. She put her efforts into spearheading the organization, and the sales began to grow from $3.7 million to what is predicted to be a $15 million year at the end of 2014. But how did she do it? By expanding the company's geographic base as far west as Ohio and southward to Virginia, by winning numerous awards from preservation societies and industry organizations, along with the coveted Crystal Achievement Award from the Glass magazine, and by building the company's reputation for quality and reliability. Charlotte is a board member of the Boston chapter of the National Association of Women in Construction, which promotes industry and supports the advancement of women within the field. And she not only provides leadership for the organization, but she shares her wealth of business experience and provides mentorship for younger women moving up the career ladder. Charlotte also serves on the membership committee of the Boston Club, one of the largest organizations for women executives and professional leaders in the Northeast. One of her business nominees said, "A remarkable quality of Charlotte is her ability to manage both with her heart and with her head. This allowed her to rally the troops together and inspire them to persevere during the tough times." Her management style created an environment of trust and loyalty that is really, truly rare in today's business world. So let's hear what some others have to say about Charlotte. So for her perseverance, her unwavering commitment to her company and the people that it serves, please join us in recognizing Charlotte Broussard.
begin with, I paid them a lot. I owe all of this really to the employees of Universal. A little background. 14 years ago, on the Mass Pike were bankruptcy lawyers driving to Marlborough to shut the business down. I was in a room speaking to some consultants, and they said to me, Charlotte, if you buy this company, you'll lose everything that you've earned. It'll be like cutting your arm off inch by inch. I still have both arms. Now, why? It's because of the employees at Universal. Let me tell you a little bit about asset purchase. When you have an asset purchase of a company, what you really buy, sick inventory, machinery and equipment that you hope will work for at least a year or two without too many Band-Aids. But more importantly, what you gain are employees that have creativity, persistence, determination, and innovation. And I inherited those employees. So those were the assets of the company. When the company was purchased, the first thing that happened was a disastrous flood, shut the company down. They didn't give up. They continued. Second thing that happened, we had a vendor delivering glass, disastrous accident on the property. Police called OSHA, and I thought, that's it. We're done. They became our friends. Fortunately, with buying the company, the only asset I brought to the company was ignorance. I knew nothing about Windows. I knew nothing about manufacturing Windows. But let me tell you, if you have a competitor that comes to your market that knows nothing about your product but has good employees, you're in trouble. Why is that? I had 3 mantras I destroyed in the company. Because I was dumb, knew nothing about the company. I said, well, why do you do that? Well, it's because everybody does it. They stopped saying that. Well, why are you making it that way? Well, that's the way we've always done it. Stop that. Why can't we do it this way? Oh, you can't. Well, that stopped. As a result, I would say to some of the employees, we can send men to the moon, and we're making Windows this way? And I really need to honor these employees, especially Paul Weisblatt. This was his father's company. He saw it destroyed. And one day, he knows my look. I said, can't we do something with this product? He, the employees, and a vendor redesigned a product that I was totally amazed by, submitted it for an award, and here's a company at that time, $4 million. Won the award against companies that were hundreds of millions of dollars. I didn't do it. The employees did it. Today, they still have not been able to, our competitors, figure out how we have done this product. And that is a tribute to the company of Universal. So the award goes to all of them, not just myself. Thank you.
Wow. We're setting the bar high. Okay. Next, Jean Beaupre from Nichols College will introduce our next honoree.
I'm waiting for that ray of sunshine to lighten me up, but I guess it's not going to happen. I missed my moment. So, after graduating from high school in 1980, Sue Mailman followed the same path as many women of her generation. She married, had a child, attended college part-time. In 1985, she began to work in her family business, starting in payroll and human resources, holding some... That was my light. Oh, the cue was supposed to come right there. holding some management positions. Moving through the ranks, Sue actively sought out opportunities to increase her knowledge by working closely with her father, the legendary Ted Coughlin, to develop key skills and relationships essential to the future of the company. Fast forward to 2003, and Sue became the 4th-generation owner of the 130-year-old family business, Coughlin Electric Contractors and Coughlin Network Services. Sue credits her role model, her grandmother Helen Logan, along with the many mentors in her office and in the community, as helping her on her road to success. Sue is widely respected throughout the business community and takes time to give back with a strong commitment to technical training and women's leadership development. Sue is a true mentor and advocate for women in the community. As a former president of the YWCA board, she is renowned for her leadership throughout central Massachusetts, and she's a strong believer in the link between education and workforce development. We are too, by the way. So Susan shares her story with aspiring female leaders at local high schools and in other forums where she can have an impact and inspire change in the lives of young women. So let's hear a little bit more about Sue from those who know her best. So for her hard work and her deep commitment to continue her family's legacy, please give another big hand for Sue Mailman. Thank you. Oh, photo. Here you go. Okay. You have to be the right way.
That's okay.
Okay. My husband used to say, when I look over my glasses, you're all in trouble, including him. Thank you to the Business Journal for recognizing, this is like not what I want to say, but I'm going to do it anyways. Thanks to the Business Journal for recognizing 36 women over the past 6 years. What I think you need to do is you're going to have to do this until boards have 50% at least representation in the top corporate things. So Tuckerman Hall has to survive that amount of time because it's a great place, and thank you for the lunch. It's awesome. And it is really a special honor to be included with these very cool women today and to be able to learn more about their stories. To my friends at Quinsigamond Community College, Thank you for submitting my name for consideration. This was not part of the deal when I said I would chair this capital campaign. But I can tell you that I am having a blast on your capital campaign. I believe in public education. I believe that Quincy plays a very significant role in our community, and I'm flattered that you asked me to be your chair. I'd like the people at our Coughlin table to know that I'm honored that you could take time out of your day. You represent my very important family, Jim, Suzanne, Olivia, Mom, Dad, and my godmother, Anne. All us Irish people have our godmothers show up at the important things. My friend and colleague, Sheila Harity, thank you. And my business colleagues, did I say them yet? Did I say my coworkers? Like the guy that was up there, Lenny Shafredo and Siobhan Hyde, because Charlotte has it exactly right. This is all about the people we get to work with every day. And lastly, probably the person that gives me the most gray hair is my business partner, Leo Miller. And that word trust is so big. And what I respect about Leo is he holds true to his values. So all of you are the reason I get to stand here and get this award. And lastly, I have this saying on my desk that was in the newspaper about 13 months after my son Jeff died. It's a quote from the Reverend Derek Hawkins, and he spoke at President Obama's first inauguration. And he said, and I quote, "Understand that God has prepared you, and God has placed you, and God will not forsake you." I have found great comfort in this saying, and I believe somehow all of us have been placed here to contribute to the greater good in whatever capacity we are able. Thank you. This is a very fun day.
Wonderful. Thanks, Sue. And next, to introduce our next winner is my friend Len Ansel from Clinton Savings Bank. Len, you're up. That's a long walk. Should I fill in your bio? All right, you'll take over.
No water?
Okay, no, you good.
Peter, thank you for allowing us to again continue our sponsorship of this great event, and we look forward to next year's as well. Sign of age. Ann Tripp is our next honoree, and since joining the Hanover in 1987, Ann has been held a number of investment and portfolio management positions at the Hanover. Today, she is the Hanover's Chief Investment Officer and responsible for all of the company's investment activities, designing and implementing investment processes, leading investment research and analysis, overseeing asset allocation and management for the Hanover's approximately $6.9 billion portfolio. Ann has played a key role in helping the Hanover maintain their position as one of the country's strongest and highly respected investment portfolios. Ann is a member of the Women at the Hanover, plays a lead role in helping women create opportunities for personal growth and career advancement. She volunteers her expertise in investment management for local nonprofits to improve their financial position, and in doing so, leverage their assets to help more people. Together with her husband, Dale Perkins, she owns Mesa Farm, a nonprofit charitable organization that provides disadvantaged and underserved children with access to equestrian programs. In 2009, the United Way of Central Massachusetts awarded Ann and her husband with the Alexis de Tocqueville Award, given to an individual or couple who embody the American spirit of giving and volunteerism. Ann's impeccable professional reputation and accomplishments are undeniable. However, her deep modesty and commitment to helping others by volunteering her skills, intellect, and passion, both in the workplace and the community, make Ann a truly exceptional person. To me, Ann is the embodiment of the Latin phrase, "Nil magnum nisi bonum," which means there's no greatness without goodness. Now let's hear what some others might say about Ann. and for all of her accomplishments and her devotion to her career, her family, and her community. Please join me in recognizing Ann Tripp.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and thank you to my daughter for doing that, and my colleagues, and to the Worcester Business Journal. I really appreciate it, and yes, I have a hard time with the limelight sometimes, so be patient with me as I read a little instead of just speak it. To stand here today among past winners and current winners, and to know how many deserving women there are in the city of Worcester business community makes this a very, very special honor for me. As some of you know, and I guess we spoke about it a moment ago, I've been at Hanover for 27 years. And it's been an incredibly rewarding and important part of my life. Among everything else, it has been an opportunity to get to know and become friends with wonderful people at Hanover and within the city of Worcester that I've admired, learned from, helped me professionally and personally, with whom I've shared the many ups and sometimes sad and difficult moments of life, and who after time have worked together to do some very important work, both at Hanover and within the city. This award is a career and personal highlight for me. It is also wonderful to be part of a class of recipients who are so accomplished. It is the strongest kind of reminder that what we do is important, that what we do can make a difference. Great work does not happen in isolation. It happens when committed business and community members provide oxygen and fundamental support for creating a lasting future. It happens when organizations have leaders in key positions who are willing to be bold and take calculated and very real risks. It happens when there's a culture where people pour positive energy into the system each and every day and support each other as they make their way through the white water we navigate daily. It happens when people reject mediocrity and all its exhausting effects. It happens when we live in a world of possibilities and creativity towards opportunities. And it happens when people fully embrace the idea that greatness isn't for others, it's theirs to strive for. While all this is simple to say, it isn't simple to do. And as the CEO at Hanover would say, enjoy the journey, and I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ann. And next up is another Ann Wettengill from the Women's Initiative at the United Way, is making her way to the front of the room, and Ann is going to be introducing our next honoree. I should give people more of a head start, or have a longer intro.
Thank you. Donna Truex has embodied both talent and strong work ethic from very early on in her career. She was hired as a paralegal with the law firm of Bowditch & Dewey in 1993 and attended Western New England School of Law at night while continuing to work full-time and caring for 2 young children. She graduated cum laude in 2000 and was elevated to associate attorney with B&D, where today she specializes in all aspects of real estate law, practicing in both Florida and Massachusetts. Donna is the chair of the Central Massachusetts Committee of the Women's Bar Association of Massachusetts, where she holds monthly mentor luncheons for colleagues and businesswomen to network and further hone their skills. She has also been instrumental in putting on a program entitled Target Success, hosting an impressive panel of successful women to discuss and mentor others toward career advancement. She seems always willing to support women in achieving their individual success and takes time to coach and mentor many others. Donna is an energetic, upbeat person whose positive outlook is infectious. Let's get a little dose of that by hearing what others have to say about Donna. For all of her dedication and hard work, please give it up for Donna Truex.
Wow, that was so unexpected and fabulous. Thank you very much. Thank you to the Worcester Business Journal and the Awards Committee for their thoughtful and hard work. It's a great honor to be recognized as one of Worcester's outstanding business women. I look around the room and I see so many amazing women, and I'm proud and thankful for this distinction. I read everybody's story of success, and it's inspirational. The common theme, though, is no one arrives at their destination the same way, and no one does it alone. So with that, I want to thank those who have supported me on my journey in my work as a lawyer and also as an advocate for women and children. My amazing mother, who is here, Carol, and my husband, Todd. To be perfectly honest, I'm like the absent-minded professor, so they have picked up where I have forgotten to do things such as eat, pick up my children, or come home from work. I don't know how many times I left our son Connor on the bus and had to call in the recruits to fix that. Thank goodness for now we have smartphones and an Outlook calendar to remind me to go home. I want to thank the women support groups that I belong to, the United Way's Women's Initiative, the Women's Information Network of the Chamber of Commerce, and the Women's Bar Association. They are full of inspirational women, and they support and they do great things in the community, and I'm happy to be a part of those organizations. A big thank you to my clients, Paul Tinsley. He has been with me since I joined the firm, and I think he has been as much of a mentor to me as I have been an attorney to him. And finally, I want to thank my friends and colleagues of Bowditch & Dewey. I have been with Bowditch & Dewey for 21 years. It's hard to believe, but it's now what I call home. There are 3 Bobs in my practice area: Bob Sudmeyer, Bob Longden, and Bob Cox. It gets confusing sometimes which Bob you're dealing with, and I was given the distinction of honorary Bob. They nicknamed me Girl Bob, and thank God it didn't stick, no offense, but I'm thankful that that didn't stay. One of my greatest leaders and mentors of the firm is Jane Hawks. She leads by example, she sets the bar very high, and she provides awesome advice. And then she tries valiantly to follow her own advice. And there are so many others at the firm. I can't mention them all, but I see Mike and Dusty and Paul and Lou who have supported me along the way. I truly, truly love and I'm passionate about what I do, practicing the law and supporting women and children in creating wonderful lives. So thank you very much for this recognition. I appreciate it.
Okay, so there's one empty chair at the end, and look at Victoria Waterman sitting there just waiting, saying, why did I have to be last? It's alphabetical, it's unfair. But nonetheless, we're just a minute away. So Victoria Waterman is the CEO of Girls Incorporated in Worcester. Empowering women and girls has been a constant thread woven in Victoria's career. Her passion began in her banking career when she founded Divorce Mortgage Resources, a lending program designed to assist divorcing women by connecting them with financial and legal services delivered by women professionals. This passion continued when she served as president of Leading Women of Massachusetts. Through strategic networking, mentoring, and innovative leadership programs, Victoria delivered the critical skills women need to advance their careers. Victoria describes her career journey as serendipity and feels strongly that although unknown at the time, every step of her path was in preparation for where she is today. While in this role, Victoria began her volunteer relationship with Girls Inc. of Worcester by serving as board president. During her time on the board, her inspirational and visionary leadership helped Girls Inc. of Worcester gain its rightful place among the most respected and impactful nonprofit agencies in the area. So it was no surprise when she seamlessly stepped into her current role as CEO of the organization to continue the great work she was already deeply engaged in. Victoria sees the future when she says, today's girls are tomorrow's leading women. And she's determined to advance the status of women and girls in both the educational and business arenas. She is passionate about the mission of Girls Inc. for all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. Carrie, Alexowitz Melly of Bay State Financial had this to say: through her tutorage, I have grown personally and professionally in ways for which I will forever be grateful to Victoria. We think a number of women feel that way. And I just want to add, this is not in the comments, so one of our former editors is this woman, Christina Davis, and just a real dynamo. And Christina was on the board at Girls Inc., and she told me this little story. I think she was off the board, and Victoria had her speak at some event, and Victoria introduced her and said, and so here's Christina, and she's a leader, and Christina kind of fluffed it off and said, yeah, you know, whatever. It was a little embarrassing. She gave her this big title. And then a few weeks afterwards, they had lunch, and Victoria slowed down and looked her right in the eye and said, Christina, you are a leader. And she hit her right in the eyes with it impactfully, with full attention. Christina said it made a huge difference. So it wasn't the, quote on the stage, it was the way in which she delivered it, and it got through. So I think that's the kind of work you've been doing, obviously, a lot of. There's 2 stories. Let's hear a couple others with the video. So clearly, she is truly an inspiration to women and girls in our community. And for that, please join me in recognizing Victoria Waterman.
Thank you. Wow, all of you over there. I don't know how you pulled that off, but Shanice, oh my goodness, that was really something. So thank you so much. I think you try to give me these lumps in my throats on purpose, but anyway. So this event has always been one of my favorites to attend and support since the annual tradition began in 2009. I don't think I've missed a single one. I've enjoyed each and every one. And although I think I always knew in my heart why this event meant so much to me, it really wasn't until I started putting these remarks together that I truly realized why. To me, this award represents integrity. Over the past 6 years, each and every awardee has demonstrated an extraordinary understanding of their role and commitment as leaders and the responsibility that comes with it to mentor the next generation of leaders. And listening to the busy schedules of all of these women, you can see that's not always easy. But the women on this stage have found meaningful ways to weave in mentoring into their leadership styles, or have intentionally reached out to find people in need to mentor. For me, it's always been about women and girls. Despite all the progress How can it be that in 2014, 1 in 4 girls will not graduate high school? 78% of girls are unhappy with their bodies by 17. 3 in 10 girls will become pregnant by the age of 20. And 1 in 5 girls will be victims of sexual abuse. It's important that every girl has someone in her life who thinks she is simply amazing, just for being herself. And for many girls, that person could be any one of us. And here's another reason why I feel so strongly about this award. And just like Jean said, there she is, earlier, for many girls, they need to see it to be it. And when they see women being recognized for being strong, smart, and bold, they believe they can also do it. I look forward to being here in the future to cheer on one of today's Girls Inc. girls who will be it on this stage. And that's why I'm truly honored and proud to receive this award and be recognized among such extraordinary women leaders. And although I'm on this stage receiving this award, I would never be here without giving credit to so many significant people who are my backbone. First of all, my extraordinary staff, over there, that table over there, who really are nothing short of miraculous. If you want to see what a typical day looks like in mentoring lots and lots of girls, stop by Girls Inc. one afternoon, and you'll see the genuine love and care that is delivered every single day. And of course, the board of directors, volunteers, friends, so many of you are here. I appreciate that so much. And some of my family members couldn't be here today, but I can feel their spirit and strength that has helped to shape the person I am today. My grandfather, my mom, my stepdad, my brother, my son, and many more that I won't mention because I'm probably already over my 2 minutes anyway. So I'd like to acknowledge my daughter, Christina, who is here. My inspiration, my pride, my joy, and future woman business leader. And of course, my husband, Jim. Where can I start? He is my rock, my biggest cheerleader, and my safety net. He believes in me more than I believe in myself, and is really the wind beneath my wings. And finally, thanks to the kind people who nominated me, and the judges who selected me, to the Worcester Business Journal and the event sponsors for this broken piece of the glass ceiling that we all have. So, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victoria. What a group. I think, Carol, I'd like to thank you again for being our keynote speaker, and I think you'd all agree that these folks all have an A game, and now they all have a copy of your book as well. So let's give them a hand. We've got a few books, as we mentioned, in the back. I want to once again just say thank you again to our presenting sponsors, Nichols College, our speaking sponsor, Penna Communications, our supporting sponsor, Clinton Savings Bank, the Women's Initiative for the United Way of Central Massachusetts, and our media sponsors, WTAG and WSRS. Special thanks to Curry Printing, Elevation Exhibits, Pepper's Catering for a fabulous meal, Revelation Productions, Ron Brule Photography, and Tuckerman Hall, which is this fabulous venue. And I want to put a special shout out, Chris Prosser and her team in the back of the room from the Worcester Business Journal. Who, when people say we put on classy events, that's the group that makes it happen. So thank you so much. And thank you for coming. We're all done. Congrats again to a fabulous group of winners. Yeah, sure.